welcome back to Football Picks here on TalkingSports.tv. I'm Marty York. Handsome Howard Kamin right here in the house and in Las Vegas from his hotel room. And I gather he's going to be watching some football this weekend, is Uncle Ben himself. Uncle Ben Walderman of UncleBen'sFootball.com. And guys, before we go any further, there was a game last Sunday that absolutely exhilarated me, and I know both of you as well. It was the game of the century as far as I'm concerned. I don't like to use hyperbole, and I don't like to embellish, but this Dallas-Denver game was absolutely out of this world. Scoring, if you like scoring, and who doesn't like scoring, at least in North America if you're not a soccer fan, I mean, you absolutely had to love that NFL game. Ben, let's start with you. You ever see anything like that one?
Well, it was one of the finest NFL games you'll see in a long time. It was reminiscent of a college football game, actually, guys.
Yeah.
This is how they go up and down the field in college football. It's a little more wide open. I think that Jason Garrett came in with the attitude that we're going to have to outscore the Denver Broncos to beat them, and I think a lot of teams are going to adopt that attitude this year because it seems like their defense is weak, their offense is overpowering, and the only way to beat them is to overpower the Denver Broncos. Like I said, I actually admired Denver should have covered the spread in that game because the way Peyton Manning managed that clock in the last 2 minutes when they were inside the Dallas 10-yard line, they could have scored a touchdown there if they wanted to, but they didn't want to leave any time on the clock for the Dallas Cowboys to come back, and they played it perfectly, the Denver Broncos did, winning that game by just 3 points.
I want to talk about Denver not covering the spread because it's the first time in a long time where the winner didn't cover the spread. We'll get back to that in a second, Ben. But Howard, you were in Las Vegas watching that game. Was the crowd at Caesars going nuts there?
Oh yeah, no, that was the game of the year up till now, and there's no doubt about that. And I even called it. I said Dallas jumped out in front 14-0, and I like Dallas getting 8 points. And everybody's saying to me, "Oh, you pick." I go, you know what? This Denver team is a type of team that can score 21 points in 5 or 10 minutes. They're that explosive. And that's exactly what they did. And at the half, Denver was actually winning by, I think, 8 or 9 points. And then they ended up, they won the game by 3 or something like that. But
4, I think.
4. But yeah, they were driving the ball late in the game. They could have scored. They could have added to the insult. But you know what? I guess there was a lot of Denver. Like, what do guys do when they bet a team and they see the quarterback kneel down instead of going for that touchdown to get the point spread done? It must kill bettors when they see that.
Well, Howard, it's called throwing up. Okay, I mean, that's what happened that game there. I mean, they could have, if there were, let's say there was 4 minutes left in that game. You don't think Denver was in the end zone?
Oh, of course. But they did play, to all credit to Denver, they did play the clock smart, because to them, they figured if we give no time left to Romo, no matter what happens, he can't beat us. So they did do the right thing the way they set the clock up there and worked it in their favor. So, great game. I was actually impressed by Tony Romo. I never been a big Tony Romo fan, never been a big Dallas Cowboy fan, but Tony Romo, I felt there was a couple plays, he looked like he was sacked, he scrambled, he moved around, he got the ball away, and he impressed me as one of the better performances by any Dallas quarterback ever to play in that one game.
Okay, but Howard, there was no question that he was the best Dallas quarterback in history in that game. He had more than 500 yards passing. He was outstanding. But the problem with Tony Romo, as I see it, gentlemen, is that he just can't win when he has to win. When it comes down to it, at the very end, he makes not only the mistake, but he chokes big time. I mean, he threw the interception that cost the team the game. And he's done this before. I mean, hell, it was a playoff game not that long ago when all he had to do was hold on the little chip shot and he muffed the hold. I mean, so my feeling is that Tony Romo, yeah, he's going to get the job sort of done, but when push comes to shove, he's not going to win the game for you because he's going to make that mistake. He's going to gag a little, and that's what I don't like about Tony Romo. And I got to ask you specifically, Ben, about that game, because as you have noted, and you've helped people with this all season long now here on Football Picks, you made it very clear that if you're going to take a team, just take them to win the game outright. That game, that didn't happen. But elaborate on what those numbers are like right now. They're bizarre.
Well, we talked about this earlier. After 2 weeks, the The actual game winner in the NFL, and I'll reiterate this, covers over 80% of the games played 20 years in a row. After 2 weeks this season, they were running about 71%. Week 3, 15-0-1, the actual game winner. Week 4, 15-0. Week 5, 13-1. The actual game winner in the NFL now sits at 65-10 for a winning percentage of 86.7%. How's that grab you, Howard?
Let's look at the numbers at the end of the year. Yeah, I mean, I give you kudos to that because to me, that stat still seems to me far-fetched.
But it's unbelievable. It's
it
there.
is coming
It's
through.
right in the numbers. It's
yeah,
Try
that's
and
good.
prove, gentlemen.
Yeah, let's see how that
amazing.
plays out for the whole season.
I know, it seems shocking. It seems like teams cover the spread once in a while but don't win.
Yeah.
However, 40 of the last 41, right, Ben, have won the game.
43 out of the last 44.
So all that,
43 of the
so
last
all that
44,
saying,
sorry.
you should be putting the biggest bet of your life this weekend on the Denver Broncos because it's the highest spread ever in the history of the NFL. And so you're saying teams that have these spreads still win the game and cover. So
That's correct. That's correct, Howard. But I wouldn't put your highest bet ever because I believe in consistent dollar wagers. Whatever your number is, whether it's 100, 1,000, 5,000, keep steady on every game you bet because if you pick more winners and losers, you win.
Ben, just to clarify, when Howard said it's the biggest ever, he was saying that it's the biggest spread ever. That the line which favors Denver from anywhere from 27.5 to 28.5 is the largest spread in NFL history. It's absolutely amazing. But that is the disparity between these two teams. I mean, you got Peyton Manning and you have this amazing Denver team on one side with Welker and with I mean, even Marino was playing like a superstar at running back. This is a great team. Decker's good. The Thomas guys, the tight end and the receiver, both outstanding. Defensively, these guys are really good. I mean, this is a great team. And then Jacksonville, on the other hand, stinks. Go ahead, Ben.
Well, I don't agree with that. I think offensively, they're one of the finest teams in NFL history. Defensively, they leave a lot to be desired.
Well,
and that will catch up
Tony
with them
Romo proved that.
I mean, they're missing Von Miller, who is one of the finest defensive players in the NFL, and he will help their unit when he comes back. I believe he's got another 2 weeks to go on his suspension.
Right.
They're also missing Elvis Dumervil, who they lost via the crazy fax situation back in April to the Baltimore Ravens, who happen to be playing quite well, I might add. And I just think that Denver Broncos have defensive problems, and basically in any sport, whether it's hockey, baseball, basketball, or football, in the end, defense wins titles, not offense.
All right, Howard, I'm going to ask you for your thoughts on this game. Who covers the spread in this one? Anywhere from 27.5 to 28.5 we're seeing right now.
well, you know what's going to happen in this game. And if anybody was going to bet this game, and I wouldn't advise anybody to bet this game because it's just way too high of a spread, but if there was ever a bet to bet in this game, I would bet Denver in the first half. Because I could see Denver bolting out to a 35-3 lead in the first half, just scoring every time they have the ball and holding Jacksonville. But then the second half, if you're up 35-3, are you going to play Peyton Manning in the second half? Are you going to use guys that are your first stringers? You might throw a few subs into the game, give them a chance to play, and Jacksonville could come back in the second half and score some points and cover the spread. I mean, 28 or 27.5 points, even if you're up 35-3, that's 32 points. Jacksonville outscores you in the second half. You lose the spread. So I would bet Denver in the first half.
Ben.
Well, in my opinion, Jacksonville outscores nobody, and I certainly wouldn't bet the Jacksonville Jaguars, although I do agree with Howard. He's got a good point there. I mean, that is an interesting proposition there, taking the first half. I'm not sure what the line would be there, but the line
Got to
would
be
certainly
14 anyway.
No, it's
I was going to say
18 points. 18 points in the first half.
It won't be 14. It'll be 14.5 for sure. And I don't know about that. I certainly wouldn't bet this game. There's way better games on the board to play that are much more competitive with spreads that are much more easily attained from a winning perspective. And I would just stay away from this game. The spread is just astronomically high.
All right, Uncle Ben in Las Vegas. Handsome Howard right here in Charlie Fitz Whiskey's. The place is hopping again tonight. here in Vaughan, Ontario. You guys got to come out here and see us one of these days here at Charlie Fitz Whiskey's. We're talking football. That's what we love to do. We're having our football picks, and we're taking a little break now at TalkingSports.tv. When we come back, we'll get Uncle Ben's top picks, and to double your pleasure, Handsome Howard's top picks. Don't go away.